Hey guys, this is Nod Lammers of Invoked 101, and today I'm doing my updated Fluffal deck profile post Soul Fusion. You can tell because we finally have Fright for Patchwork. It's been a while since I updated this deck. It's been a while since I actually talked about this deck in general, and that is because I actually ended up selling my second copy of this deck. Thought I had enough for a third one, ended up trading my buddy for a Fluffal core. So big shout out to We Like To of Flip the Bird Gaming. I know him as Josh, and if you want to check out what he does, Flip the Bird Gaming at Twitch. So once again, big thank you to him. And as always, if you guys want to see more deck profiles like this, more deck profiles for decks that you guys want to see, consider backing me on Patreon. Just that $1 a month goes to getting new sleeves, new deck boxes, new cards, new everything for the channel, and making better content and more consistent content for you guys. And anyways, if you want to keep up with everything we're doing here on the channel, consider subscribing. But without further ado, we're going to set the extra deck off to the side, we're going to set the spells off to the side, and we're going to talk about this crazy new update to Fluffals. So, as always, zoom in a little bit, let's talk about the monsters. So first up, for the 3 of Fluffals, I'm playing 3 Fluffal Dog. What this guy does is, I believe when he's normal or special summoned, you get to search a Fluffal monster or Edgent Sabers from your deck to your hand. If I'm correct, add Edgent Sabers or Fluffal from your deck to your hand, except Fluffal Dog. You can only use this effect of Dog once per turn. Super cool Stratos for the deck. Doesn't search Chain, which sucks, but we have Patchwork for that now. But overall, very cool card, especially since it activates on normal or special summon. Then we play 3 Bear. What Bear does is you discard him and you set Toy Vendor directly from your deck. That is crazy. Toy Vendor being one of the best cards in the deck, probably the best spell card in the deck, next to Patchwork. We're going to zoom out just a touch. Bear is nuts, and I love him. But that's it for the 3 of Fluffals. Everything else we play at 2. So to finish out the Fluffal engine, we play 2 Wings. Wings has an insane effect because I know that when it's in the graveyard, you get to banish it in another Fluffal, I think, pop Toy Vendor, and then draw 2, something like that. It's been a while since I played Fluffals. If this card is in your graveyard and you control Toy Vendor, you can banish this card from your graveyard, then target a Fluffal monster in your graveyard, banish that, and if you do draw 1 card, then you can send 1 Toy Vendor you control to the graveyard, and if you do draw another card, you can only use this effect of Fluffal Wings once per turn. And as we know, if Toy Vendor goes to the graveyard, you get to search a Fluffal, so very cool interaction there. That's it for the Fluffal engine, but we do play more Fluffals. This is just like the Fluffal draw engine right here. But here we go, we do have 2 Penguin, because it is able to summon any Fluffal from the hand. And then this is one of those Fluffals from Fusion Enforcers that we got, and he has an effect when he's fused with. So if this card is sent to the graveyard for a fusion material of a Fright for Fusion, draw 2, then discard 1. So very cool card, a nice little kind of a mini Graceful Charity for the deck. So there we go. And then I'm playing 2 Owl. I will talk about this in a moment, but I'm playing 2 Fluffal Owl. He is Polymerization, and he can also search Polymerization if I'm right. You can add 1 poly from your deck to your hand. You pay 500 and fusion summon a Fright for Fusion. So there we go. Then I'm playing 2 Sheeps. Sheep can special summon itself if you control a Fluffal monster, and then it can bounce back a card and do something else. So Sheep says, you can return 1 Fluffal monster you control to the hand, special summon an Edgent monster from your hand or graveyard. So there we go. So you can use this to recur Chain. Then I'm playing 1 Fluffal Octopus. This is literally, I'm playing him because I love octopi. Like, I think octopuses are like the cutest little things. So I'm playing him, but I also remember that he's not too awful. So when this card is normal or special, you can target a Fluffal or Edgent monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand. If this card is sent to the graveyard as a fusion material for a fusion summon of a Fright for Fusion monster, target up to 2 of your banished monsters, return them to the graveyard. So a little bit of recursion, putting Chain back in your hand is pretty nice. And for the last Fluffal, I'm playing 1 Fluffal Cat to recur our polys, because we do run through them quite a bit. So having a nice little kitty cat to grab those back is nice. But that is it for the Fluffal monsters. Real quick, I want to talk about the Fluffal Sheep and the Fluffal Owl. I wouldn't be playing 2 of them. Instead, I would play 2 Called by the Grave over the extra copies. I play 2 extras because I felt that these were the best Fluffals to play 2 more of. I did think about adding another cat to the deck, but I felt that this second Owl and the second Sheep were better. But yeah, so there you go. You can play 3 Penguin if you want. 3 Penguin isn't awful. But as for the Edge Imps, we are of course just playing the tiniest little Edge Imp engine, which is 3 Edge Imp Chain. This card is nuts. When this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you get to search a Frightfur card, any Frightfur card, so Patchwork, Fusion, Factory, just everything. And then I believe if this card declares an attack, you can actually search Edge Imp Chain. Yeah. You can only use 1 Edge Imp Chain effect per turn and only once that turn. Usually you're using his effect to fuse him away and then search for like Frightfur Fusion or Factory or something like that. But on the off chance that you do open him in Polymerization, you can just use him away to search for Patchwork and keep going. So there we go. Oh, and the last one is Sabers, because we need Sabers to make Tiger. So there we go. So 3 Chain, 1 Sabers. I never understood why people only played 1, but I'm playing 1 as well. That's it for the monsters of the deck. So I believe it's 20 monsters exact. No hand traps. There are no hand traps in this deck. But let's talk spells, because this is where this deck starts to get really cool, because we finally have Frightfur Patchwork. So Frightfur Patchwork, if you don't know, you add a Polymerization and an Edge Imp from your deck to your hand, and that's it. That's it, and you can only activate 1 per turn. But yeah, just search 1 Edge Imp, search 1 Poly. That's insane. We needed this 2 years ago. Alright, but the next card we play is 3 Toy Vendor. So what Toy Vendor does is you can discard a card, and then draw a card off the top of your deck, reveal it, and then if it is a Fluffal monster, you can special summon it. If not, discard it. So once per turn, discard a card, draw a card, and show it. If it's a Fluffal, special summon it. Special summon 1 monster from your hand, otherwise you can discard the card you drew. If this card is sent from the graveyard, you can add 1 Edge Imp Sabers or 1 Fluffal monster from your deck to your hand. So it also searches if it's sent to the graveyard, which Fluffal Wings can help you facilitate. You can discard it off this, you can fuse with it, you can do a whole bunch of stuff as long as you have another Fluffal in your graveyard. And then for other Frightfur cards we play 2 Frightfur Fusion. This is just like a Miracle Fusion or an Overload Fusion for the deck. You banish materials from your graveyard and from your field or graveyard instead, and then fusion summon a Frightfur monster. And then we also have 1 Frightfur Factory. This lets you banish Polymerization and then use Polymerization again. So it basically is a continuous spell for polys, and then it has another effect, I believe. If this card is sent to the graveyard, you can target one of your banished Frightfur Fusion, add it to your hand. You can only use each effect. Yeah, because you can banish a fusion spell card from your graveyard as well, and then it becomes like Polymerization. You just have to banish something with fusion in the name. I'm playing 2 Suture Rebirth. So Suture Rebirth, what it is it's like a Monster Reborn for Frightfurs or Fluffals, except it negates their effects. But yeah, so being able to bring back a Fluffal real quick for a fusion summon, it keeps your Monster Reborn more alive. But yeah, you can take these out for Frightfur Reborns, I think. But Frightfur Reborn, I think, is a little bit more specific, but I don't think it negates the effect. So, but that's it for the Fluffal exclusive stuff. Let's talk about the other stuff. So we're playing 3 Polymerization because you have to in this deck just to fusion summon. They do have Frightfur Reborn, Frightfur Fusion, but this is the main one that they use. And then we're playing 2 Instant Fusion to summon Sheep from the extra deck, but we'll talk about that later. We're playing 2 Foolish Burial Goods and 1 Foolish Burial. So Wings, you can use this to send Frightfur Factory or Toy Vendor. So yeah, if you see it, then cool. If you don't, then it's whatever. And then lastly, 1 Monster Reborn. So we're only playing like 2 1-up spells in the deck, which are these 2, and then I think we're only playing 3 1-up monsters, which is Cat and Octo, wherever Octo went. Cat, Octo, and Sabers. So only 5 1-ups, which I think is the optimal amount of 1-ups. But that is actually it for the main deck. Very quick, I think it is exactly 40 cards. I put it together on Yugo Pro. It is exactly 40 cards. So let me actually just throw the important card up on top. I don't play the other new card, the Patchwork Fluffal that is like a King of the Swamp for the deck, because it's kind of weak, kind of lame, doesn't really do anything. Alright, for our extra deck, in order of level, we're playing 2 Fright for Sheep. This is what one of your instant fusions is for summoning this in the first place to go into Edgemp Sabertooth, and then the second one is just for making normally, so is for like the Fright for Patchwork. And then we're playing 1 Tiger and 1 Wolf. Usually these are the 2, either one you want to end your ending board with. So like after you've done all your combos and your plays and you have Fright for Fusion in your hand and you go for that Fright for Fusion, this is the one that you summon to like blow up a bunch of cards. Or if you just need to attack over a bunch of stuff, this is the one you summon there for like 10 attacks. But yeah, so one of those, because you can only control 1, and this guy's not as good. But both of these need sabers, which is why they're the ones that you end on. And then, just for preference, I'm playing 1 Fright for Daredevil. This was a gift, so I'm gonna play it. He's kind of cool too. He burns the opponent for like damage and stuff, so he's not awful. And then 2 of my personal favorite Fright for, this is Kraken. Kraken is nuts. What he does is you can, I don't know if he targets real quick. Let me look. Yeah, target a monster your opponent controls, send it to the graveyard. It can't attack directly that turn though. But he can attack twice during each battle phase, and at the end of the battle phase, if he attacked, he switches to defense mode. So it's just like send a card, attack twice, flip. He's nuts. He's amazing, and he just needs a Fluffal and an Edgemp. So, you know, busted. And then we have whoa, not that card. 3 Edgemp Sabertooth, or Fright for Sabertooth. This card is one that you have to play 3 of at this point. You can probably get away with 2, but the third one is definitely nice. He needs a Fright for monster and then 1 or more Edgemp and Fluffals. When this card is fusion summoned, target 1 Fright for monster in your graveyard, special summon it, so you can revive the monster you use for material. Target 1, if all Fright for monsters you control gain 400 attack, if this card is fusion summoned using 3 or more fusion materials, it cannot be destroyed by battle or card effect. So basically what you do is you just use 3 cards to summon it, and then so 1 Fright for one, and then like 2 Fluffals or whatever, and then make this, and you just body your opponent. This guy is insane. And then you get to summon 1 back, turn it into another and then you get to summon 1 back, turn this one into another Sabertooth, and then the Sabertooth will bring back the other Sabertooth, so you'll have 2 on board. So crazy. So you'll basically be able to put out 3 Frightfurs, but that's it for the fusions. And then the last card in the extra deck is Landfalinkus. I actually had to borrow this from one of my friend's decks. But yeah, Landfalinkus, just a generic link to 2 monsters. The arrows point down and down, so 1 there, 1 there. 1200 attack. This is the last card in the extra deck. You can play like Borreload and like the Nightmare Links, but honestly, I would just play like 2 of these. And then, yeah, that's about it. But yeah, that's it for the extra deck. And that means that's it for the deck. This deck is really fun. This deck is really cool. I'm excited to have it back in the collection. I'm definitely excited to play test it a little bit. And I don't know, it's just really cool to have this deck back and with Fright for Patchwork and just like at its most optimal version. You can play Brilliant Fusion in this deck if you want to. I think that Brilliant Fusion would be good for this deck. I didn't want to play Brilliant Fusion, I wanted to play a more pure build. But yeah, that's it for Fluffals. Thank you guys for watching. Again, big shout out to Josh at Flip the Bird Gaming for hooking me up with this. Of course, as always, tell me what I can do to improve this deck down in the comments below, and I will see you guys in the next video.